Happy Friday, everyone. Oh, goodness. Happy Thursday, everyone. I got ahead of myself. It's your girl, Adina, and I'm here with the 8th edition from the second season of the Liberated Pussy podcast. My sis Monique is coming into the room, and we have another yummy conversation from the melanated woman's perspective. There she is. There she is. It's going up. We keep trying different times to see what works for us and what works for you. But one thing you know for sure is that we're coming. There you go.
Hi there.
God,
How you doing?
look at the mane on you. Look at the mane. Yes.
Yes, yay,
How
it's growing. Hair grows, right?
hair grows.
It
Hair
does.
does grow. It looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you.
Happy to
Thank
see you. It's cold in LA today. You got your scarf
you.
back on. We were out of the
What?
scarf for a minute.
It's kind of like a spring scarf. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like it's a spring, so it's just like a piece of cotton, so it's more fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But it is
Okay.
chilly. Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Okay.
And it is a little chilly.
It's chilly
Yes.
here in the DC area. You know, our spring came and flirted with us and then got a little coquettish and kind of went back underneath the bushes that are blooming.
Sit back here. I ain't ready yet. I ain't
I,
ready yet.
I'm ready. I don't know
Right.
who we need to talk to, but as the goddess, I am willing spring to come through right now.
Yes,
Okay, it's
yes, yes.
springtime. Come on in here. Come on in. So let's take a quick moment to introduce ourselves. I
Yes.
started off by saying I am Adina Gittin Smith, the goddess of magical movement. I'm the
Mhm.
co-founder of Belly Dancers of Color Collective, and I'm also the founder of Goddess Technology. Do you know what that means, y'all? You are the technology. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. I have the amazing pleasure of doing the Liberated Pussy podcast with my sister Monique. We have beautiful conversations from the melanated woman's perspective and the conscious melanated woman's perspective, because it's a lot of melanated women saying shit
Yeah.
and they're not necessarily elevating you. We want to elevate you into your goddessness and your godness. So we have
Yeah.
something called Goddess Gathering every Thursday, which is today at 8 o'clock, that's 8 o'clock p.m. Where am I? Eastern Standard Time. It is a grown woman rites of passage program. We are initiating our grown ass selves. So that's who I am. Let's go, Momo.
Hey, Dina.
Hey, baby.
So thank you for that. I am Monique Ruffin, also known as the Moon. That's kind of like Monique Ruffin is my first name. I got so many names going
Mhm.
on. It's this a spiritual journey is such a profound experience where it takes us. So I am Monique Ruffin. I'm also known as the Moon Mama. I am an astrologer, a cosmic guide is really what I
Yes.
like to think of myself as, a cosmic guide through the ascension process that is your own experience of your own revelation of yourself. I am the co founder and facilitator over at Follow the Sun, which is a community designated and designed to assist humans and especially women in their awakening journey. I co-facilitate Goddess Technology with Adina. We're on our way to Bali
Mhm.
in the next couple of months. We have so much planned. More, I mean,
Mhm.
like we're just about to open up a whole new experience of what it means to be a woman at this
Mhm.
time on the planet. I do readings. I do personal coaching. Um, I am also a mother. Like I have a 17-year-old son who lives with his father, which I'm very grateful for, that I get to be able to do the work that I do. And I also know that I have a child that's being taken care of and safe somewhere so that I could do this for the planet and for my child and for all children, all humans. Um, and I believe in magic. I'm
Yeah,
here for magic,
I'm
and I
here.
am readying myself to be a facilitator for thousands, possibly millions of women to come in contact and remember who they are and their magic. I am the one that will be doing that. So I'm happy to
I'm
be here.
ready. Happy Thursday. Y'all
Yes,
hear
happy
that?
Thursday.
She is ready for the millions, the
Yeah.
thousands, the 50, 11
Yeah.
hundreds, all of them, all the
All of
numbers,
them. All of them.
all of
All
them.
of them. All of them.
Because one thing we know is we wake up, those who are awake are more powerful than those who are asleep. We know that.
Yeah.
And as those wake up and come out of the cocoon and they look up toward the light, they will see us shine in the light and they'll come on up. Come on, come on.
Come on.
You
That's
know,
right. That's right.
whenever you're ready, we already out here doing the work. We
That's right.
outside, y'all. We are
We have
outside.
started the process. You don't we have already, you don't have to make the wheel. We've
Mhm.
already started it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to recreate
Yes.
it. Absolutely.
Yes, that's so wonderful. Thank
Hmm.
you for that. You want to give, there's so much amazing astrology happening right now with the eclipse that's coming, the eclipse window that we're in, the new moon that's coming. You got to give them a little something because there's so many people saying all kind of doomsday stuff and crazy stuff, and they'll scare you if you let them. But once you know your power, can't nobody scare you
Right.
because you know that you're held in the one, in the one, in the one.
Right.
And that is, you can't be destroyed. You
Right.
literally cannot.
Right. And
So, Momo, tell them
thank you
what's
for
up.
that. Thank you, Adina. And that's the thing for us to really understand. People get afraid, and the astrology is a map, and you don't have to be afraid. Like Adina said, you're a part of something. And if you don't
I felt
feel
that.
like you're a part of something, what'd you say?
I felt it. Like when you say you're a part of something, it, spirit literally pulled me in my
Yes.
solar plexus.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so if you don't feel like you're a part of something, that means you haven't done the work to connect to yourself. And your astrology will help you connect to yourself. So,
Mhm.
with that, right now, today, the moon is in Aquarius, the sun is in Aries, and we are headed for an eclipse on Monday. Now, this eclipse is happening with Mercury retrograde and Chiron. We are being given an opportunity to blow away all of our old constructs and the things that we have been attached to externally, the behaviors and beliefs that we have believed, like, I got to do this to get love, I got to do this to feel safe, I got to do this because they are not. Like, all of that stuff is going away. Like, the old world is going away. Now, what the fuck does that mean? Because this is all we've ever known. Like, what do we mean the old world is going
Mhm.
away?
Mhm.
The old world is, when I say the old world, I mean like the way we used to all go to church on Sundays. We all believed in Jesus. We all went to school. We all watched the same TV shows. We all voted on the same time. Like, all of that sort of stuff. All of that sort of collective connect things, those energy things that bind us to this are dissolving. And so that means what you are going to have to stand on is yourself, your
Yeah.
own energy. And you've got to know what it is and
Yeah.
how it functions. You've got to get into your body. Most of us have been in our heads because we've been living in a world that's extra. People like to call it the patriarchy, or it's overly masculine. It's overly mental. That's really what it is. We've been overthinking, right?
Mhm.
And the mind doesn't have access to all the information, so the world is the way that it is now. So you get to get clear about who you really are. And this eclipse in Aries is asking you to get clear about what you're really up to. Where are you going? And you don't have to have all the answers, because I realize that a lot of people don't have the answers to what their purpose is right now or who they really are. I understand that. But what you have to do is you have to desire it. You have
Mhm.
to want to know it. You have to have a sincere pursuit, a sincere curiosity within you that will lead you, because it's energy. So if you sincerely want to know, you know what that is when it feels sincere.
It
Like,
feels
I
real.
really, right, when it feels real. If then the universe will answer that. And so
Mhm.
if you don't have clarity, your pursuit is not sincere enough. And the last thing I want to say is, sometimes I know I've seen it in myself. I want something for something that gives me an ego gratification. You know, I might want to have a nice house because people then think I'm successful. Sometimes we think we need to drive a certain car because it has a certain image. That is the stuff that has to go away. Like, you have to want what you want for your well-being. You have to want what you want because it makes you feel good inside for yourself. You have to desire it because it's good for you,
Mhm.
not because of what other people are going to think, or what, like, that's, and undoing that construct in our minds, because we've been all conditioned to be performative. We've been conditioned that way. This is not a this is not an assault against you as a person. It's an assault against the way we have aligned ourselves to the cultural practices. And the
Right.
cultural practices have us wanting what we think we should have so people will like us,
Yeah.
so we can get the
That
job.
that's what all that programming is about. Like when you think
Yes.
of television, pretty literally tell you it's a program.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think, oh, what's this something I come and watch? No, it's a program. It's
Yes.
code. They're writing code, and everyone who is taking time to view it and upload that code.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about is writing your own code, or getting in line with the divine code that's in you. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing you said that I heard Kenya say last week, and if you guys didn't hear last week's Pussy podcast, check it out. It was phenomenal. We had Kenya K. Stevens here from Progressive Love Academy, and she talked about getting in a container. And I realized maybe people don't understand what that really means from context. We understand it because we understand her language. We have a similar language. But what she meant is, if you are out there just kind of floating all alone and just trying to do it by yourself and just think you're going to read every book in the Library of Congress and all of the ones, and it's more than that. It's you have to get into it in community,
Yeah.
because without connecting with another human, it's still just mental. You
Yeah.
have to practice this stuff. You have to take the training wheels off. You have to ride. You have to
That's
trust. All of this
correct.
perfectly lines up with our conversation today.
Yeah.
So that's the container. You
Yeah.
get to pick the container.
Yeah.
It's with a family, it's with your friends, it's with a
That's right.
community that's going in the direction that you say you want to go. So
Yes.
that's the desire, the sacred desire that you spoke of, Monique. You have
Yeah.
to have, okay, I'm going to go in this direction. And so I'm going to align with a group of folks going in this direction so that I can experience and flow and put these practices into fruition, like into
Yes.
motion, into
Yeah.
embodiment out
Yes.
of my
Yeah.
head and into my body. That's where
Yes. Yes.
dancing comes into it. I
Yes.
always say that I'm a dancer, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, what does that got to do with all of this? Because it lives in your body. That's what it
That's
has to do with
right.
all of this.
That's
If
right.
you're just living from the neck up, you're not living.
That's
You
right.
have to live all the way down to your baby toe and through the crust of the earth and to the center and the core of the earth. You have to
Yes.
embody it. It has to be
Yes.
real for
That's
you.
right. That's right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely the truth. Yes. 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 I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
And so we have this incredible time while Mercury's retrograde to rewrite all of these stories. This is the time to do it until May 14th. Start rewriting your stories. And so this podcast that Adina and I are doing can help us understand how we can begin to rewrite our stories as we dive into the topic that we have today. So let's go for it, Adina, and then I'm
Okay,
going to
let's
tie it
go
all
for it.
back in. Okay.
The topic that
Yeah.
we have for today, I'm talking through my nose for today, because I'm still alive, is how to function from feelings.
Hmm.
What? How to function from feelings. Do you know that feelings are literally the universal language?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what language you speak. Animals can read your feelings.
Hmm.
The weather can read your feelings. People in another culture that don't speak your language can read your feelings. Feelings are the universal language
Yes.
that we have been taught that emotions have no power, that emotions are silly. You should stuff them. Oh, no, 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 no. Emotions are literally energy in motion that everything that is conscious of it can read.
Yeah.
I know growing up, I was the kind of kid where my mom would say, whatever you're thinking is showing on your face. I didn't know how to not show it on my face. Like like if I thought it was some bullshit, it showed. Whatever.
You still
It showed on my
like that.
face. I'm
You
still
still
okay,
like
so I'm
that.
still like that. So y'all might want to play poker with me because I'm gonna be like, yeah, I got the good head, yeah. So let's talk about how to function from your feelings. What you think about that, Monique? How have you used your connectivity to spirituality, to metaphysics, and to really just connecting to your authentic self to get in touch with what you're feeling? You've talked about it a lot through the years, different things you've done, like the prickly things for your feet and standing upside down and stuff we talked about before. But let's talk about functioning from feelings, what that means.
Okay, so this is such a big conversation, I think, on so many levels, because I have spent most of my time in my head, and I was afraid of my feelings. I've been afraid of my emotions most of my life. Um, and mostly because I was told that they weren't valuable, that they weren't logical, that they didn't make any difference, that I should basically keep them to myself. And oftentimes, because my feelings and emotions, for me personally, I don't think this is true for everyone else, we're so wrapped up in my sexuality. And I've shared with you before, because I was because I got activated sexually very young, like many of us have that. We have experiences of molestation, we have experience of inappropriate sexual experiences. And so that feeling, like you experience that intense emotional sense of pleasure, even if it's inappropriate, is still real.
Still a feeling.
And
Yeah.
right. And so that sort of hijacked me, is
Mm-hmm.
what I'll say. Um, so I have spent the last 3 or 4 years really disconnecting from um, what I would call like hypersexuality,
Mm-hmm.
where everything was geared towards sex and love and feeling connected to somebody else and disconnected from myself. Like I needed somebody else to feel myself, is what I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because of
Mm-hmm.
that early conditioning. And so the things that I do, I do a lot of breath work, just breathing. I do, I do, I do body tapping. I do cold showers, baths with ice. I do a lot of heat and cold, in and out of heat and cold, to begin to learn how to regulate my feelings and the energy in my body. Um, Fortunately for me, even though I was very disconnected from my feelings, I've always been very intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, intuition is a part of my sensory system, but it also functions without it. You know what I mean? Like it
Mm-hmm.
also, so I've always been very connected to spirit, so even if I couldn't feel something in my body, I was still connected to spirit. And just like I've always had the hand of the universe on me, just directing me, like, bitch, we told you to go and you're not listening to your system, so we gonna just make this happen. I'm like, oh, right, like, so I've always had a connection that would override even if I was disobedient or ignorant to my own system. But it is a very deliberate experience. Like I've been seducing it.
Mm-hmm.
Then because it's subtle, and the moon work has helped me get back to it, because Cancer, the moon rules our emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
I realize I just said a lot, but yeah.
You did say a lot. I will add, as a Cancer woman, a Cancer sun sign, I've always felt
Hmm.
so deeply, whereas I've been told my whole life, you're so sensitive. Oh my God, you're super sensitive, because like I could literally cry at a Hallmark commercial,
Hmm.
or that home show when the people would get the new house and it'd be so nice. I would cry every time, like, oh, I was just happy for the family. I don't know these people, right? My kids,
Yeah.
it was a joke. It's like, oh, she crying again. But I felt air on me, almost like you feel air on a tooth, that's a toothache.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
sensitive my feelings were. If you could think of how tender that is.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the world really isn't, or not as I've experienced it, set up for that kind of
Yeah.
tenderness. And
Correct.
so what has helped me, because to be so tender is almost like you can't breathe in deeply because it hurts, like,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
I had to kind of work with myself so that I could live in this dimension
Hmm.
and not be so pokeable.
Hmm.
So there
Hmm.
were aspects of me that as I grew, I had to toughen up a bit, but I don't deny the fact that my feelings are informing me. I listen to my feelings. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not fucking feeling it. I mean,
Hmm.
period. Like they say, period.
Right.
but I can be in a place where I don't have to cry at every home makeover show, like,
Mhm.
oh God, so nice. You know what I mean? It's the
Mhm.
balance between that of knowing how to utilize the information that the feelings have come to tell you. Because I understand that now, that the feelings are giving me information from spirit. Yet and still, I want to be able to function in a way, I want to be able to function because my feelings could shut me down. Like that's how I would be. I'd be so
Mhm.
sensitive that my feelings, I would literally close myself off. That's the crab, just kind of
Yes.
go in. And you
Yes.
can't live life that way
Yeah.
either. You have to find the balance of being the crab out of the shell and the crab in the shell. Maybe soft shell. I don't know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But understanding that your feelings are divine intelligence, and we all have to modulate it or get our temperature gauge just right on how we can feel it and use it and feel it and not being run by it or having it dictate to us, where we're still functioning from our higher self, but using the intelligence and the information that our feelings are giving us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this experience, I mean, the conversation is one thing. The experience of learning to regulate your emotions and being connected to your body and your feelings. I mean, as I'm in it, and I've been in it for the last couple of years, it's a lot. Let me just
Mm-hmm.
say, it is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that is challenging for me in this of becoming acquainted with my sensory self is that every feeling, like I have the experience of attempting to, my ego wants to get involved with every feeling I have.
Okay.
And what it does is it tries to make meaning of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the meaning that it can that it can make is it's like, go eat. Go eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You
Yeah,
feel this, you don't
tactile.
know what it is,
Yeah.
go eat. You
Yeah.
feel something, you scared, go eat. You
Mm-hmm.
go
Go
get the
fuck. Go do something.
right,
It was a song. I
right.
think Solange sang a song. I couldn't eat it away. I couldn't sex it away. I
Right.
couldn't write it away. I couldn't dance it away. Sometimes you just gotta fucking feel it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
gotta just fucking feel it to get the download of what it came to teach you. The feelings are literally giving you information.
Yes.
Literally. But if
Yes.
we're always trying to deflect it, that's a thing too. And that's a real personal thing to know if you're working through it or if you're avoiding it. If you're
Yes.
shielding yourself, which is what I did for a long time. It's like,
Yes.
ooh, because it
Yes.
was
Yes.
painful. Hmm.
Oh, it's so true. And we can, and how we shield ourselves, right? So, like, let's talk about shielding ourselves,
Okay.
because I feel like one of the ways that I shield myself, I've seen it. My mind the minute I see something, my mind wants to put it somewhere. My mind is like, what is that? Da, 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 da. What does that mean? Where does that, like, literally, it just goes immediately.
Hmm.
And it's almost like a function of skepticism.
Mm.
It could be a function of curiosity, but because I've seen a lot of stuff, it doesn't function like, because curiosity is really
I
open. It's very like,
think curiosity is innocent too. Like if
yes,
it's coming from a curious place, not
yes,
from a inquirer or investigative, but curiosity is like a child. A child
yes,
is curious.
yes.
Hmm.
So my curiosity over the years, because of disappointment, has become skepticism.
Okay.
And so that's just been one of the ways that I shield myself. And so I've been really working compassionately, lovingly to deconstruct the skepticism inside of me,
Hmm.
so that I can just feel, so that my system can flow. And how the first premise of that is recognizing that nothing is out to get me.
Right. That's a big one because we've been taught the boogeyman and this and that and Freddy Krueger and the white man and like we talked about last
Right.
week, that man and this and that.
Yes.
But no, if they're just my reflection, then what am I reflecting? That's curiosity
Right.
to get back into what am I putting up that this is in my auric field? What am
Yes.
I projecting? Where am I?
Yes. That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. That I've called this in. So That is one of the ways that I have shielded myself because I have a lot of Mercury, right? I have the
Hmm.
Gemini moon and I
Yeah,
have the Virgo sun.
yeah.
And so all of those energies are energies that want to pick you apart.
Hmm.
Well, the Gemini moon is curious. The Gemini moon is like, "Oh, look at that." But then the Virgo comes in and be
Hmm.
like, "What wait a minute. You stand over there. Let me make sure this is okay because if this is not like." And so that is an aspect of me that's constantly trying to like protect in some sort of way. So I've been very intentionally working lovingly, gently to deconstruct that mind that is skeptical. And
Hmm.
it's interesting and it's fun. It's also becoming fun. So what are one of the ways or some of the ways that you feel like you shield?
Some of the ways that I've shielded myself is to hesitate, hesitate to the point of procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm in my head, if I'm in my head doing that thing about, is it good enough? Is it this? Is it that? What are they going to think? That kind of thing it's like the deer in the headlight. Like that's a shield when I get stuck. But
Mm-hmm.
my higher self comes and knows that in order to move, you got to move. Like allow myself to feel it because I'm going to feel,
Mm-hmm.
because that's who I am. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
feel. Allow myself to feel the feelings that I'm feeling, get the information, and then move that way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I know if I'm overly stuck on something, I need to go to my ritual. That's another thing that I do. Like ritual has helped me a lot in being more trusting of what's coming through instead of, like you say, being skeptical of it. Because what we've been taught is that, oh, that's just your imagination. Your imagination is everything, ladies and gentlemen. It is literally stardust. It is literally
Yes.
the tool and the fuel and the pieces to put together whatever life it is that you want. So
Yes.
go there, feel
Yes.
that,
Yes.
use that. I
Yes.
know that now. Whereas before, I would, when I would zone out, I would be like, oh God, stop doing that. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
try to move myself off of that and focus back on some bullshit. But
Mm-hmm.
perhaps it was something really coming to me in that moment that I needed to receive. So it's a piece of honoring, knowing when to hold and let go, like how you would
Mm-hmm.
hold a flower. You don't want to crush it, but you want to enjoy it. If you cut a flower and put it in a vase, then it's for a long time. But if you nurture it and care for it, then maybe you'll have an opportunity to enjoy it for a longer time. So for me, I was cutting my flower and letting it die,
Mm-hmm.
instead of nurturing it and getting the full spectrum of what it came to teach me, because it was so painful, like I say, about the intensity of emotion.
Yes. Oh, that is so good. It is. I have seen myself cut things off because of the intensity too. I had this person that I used to practice tantra with, and
Mhm.
um, we were like the energy would get so intense in my body with
Mhm.
them just putting their hands over me, right? Like just holding their hands over me and focusing their energy coming into my body. And it would get so intense. And I would feel so much self judgment around their eyes on me and
Mhm.
me like me contorting
Mhm.
or me like, and so I would cut it off. I would cut
That's
it
like
off and
orgasm. People do that too. They
yes,
cut off their sound, they cut off their movement because of judgment of what they think they're doing or what they think they look like. And
yes,
man, you're missing out on a lot when you do that.
yes. And he would say, "You cut it off just when it's about to,"
Hmm.
and it was like a function of my brain. It
Hmm.
just wouldn't let me do it, and so I've had to really work with myself to learn
Hmm.
how to be in my body to be able to hold it wasn't that I was cutting it off. It was that I couldn't hold it.
Mm.
It
Now
was
that's a
too
different thing. Yeah, if you
right.
couldn't hold it, it was too hot or too cold or too
Yes.
intense or too feely.
Yes. Yes.
I understand
So
that.
I was short circuit,
Yeah.
and so now I've been really learning to sit in the cold water and be with the uncomfortable feeling and breathe
Mhm.
through it and hold the feeling in my body
Yeah.
until I feel a greater experience of comfort and then move into the next thing because you have to be able to hold this energy of
Yes, that's
emotions.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what the plant medicine Hape helps me with.
Hmm.
Helps me with. is
Mm-hmm.
because even though I've been doing it for what, 2 years now,
Is
I
it 2 years?
it's uncomfortable. Well, yeah, we're in the second year. Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But through relaxing, releasing, and allowing, it allows me to know where that place is in my body so that I can relax and release and allow the emotion so that
Yeah.
it can expand. Because if you cut it off, like you say, don't nobody want no orgasm cut off. Like that is the
Yeah.
worst. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like
Yeah.
you was just about you. Like what?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't want that. We
Yeah.
want, we want to go to the top.
Right.
So that's helped me ground into my body
Mm-hmm.
and be able to hold the frequency so I know where it is so I can find it again.
Yes. Yeah, that's really, and as you're talking about it from this perspective of sex, like for me, I have had to practice celibacy so
Mm-hmm.
that I could learn how to hold my own energy.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to feel myself without the need for the other.
Mm-hmm.
Learning to be in my body and be with the senses and not have it be reliant upon somebody sharing it with me, or you know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
really, really becoming really comfortable with my own self for real,
Right.
with my own darkness, my own light. So that because when I really become comfortable with it, then I can be it with myself, and then I can share with somebody else. But I can't do that if I can't know myself.
Yeah.
And it has been such a profound experience of feeling my own energy, um, beginning to have my energy grow so strong that I can hear the voice of the spirits and the fairies, that I can like just so intimate that I can feel the energy of the wind and know that I'm
Mm-hmm.
connected to it. Like I needed solitude for that, and not
Mm-hmm.
just being by myself. Like I needed to not have my mind on anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I understand.
my thing of like celibacy for me is much more than not allowing somebody else into my body. It's about not allowing somebody else into my head,
Yeah.
so
And more
that
so there first.
that's
Yeah.
right. So that
Mm-hmm.
I really own and dominate my own energetic field.
Mm-hmm.
And most women, we don't have that because we are mentally connected and reliant upon external things.
Yes. And the reliance on the external has you, we talked about this,
Hmm.
potentially has the ability to have you miss what we're talking about right here.
Yes.
Because if you're always focused outwardly, you miss the magic that is brewing right there in your own pot. If you're
Yes.
always looking over there and and not really taking that time to to cook your pot, stir your pot. I get it.
Yes.
I get
Yes.
it. Now you know how they do the four love languages. What are your four love languages? Like, what are your top two? It's like personal, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts. Like from that body of knowledge, do you
Yeah.
have two that you resonate with?
I think that I think I love acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I don't like gifts. Like gifts are I like gifts,
Yeah.
but generally I don't like gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Generally. But if somebody knows me, then because I know they've given me something that I would buy for myself, right? Like, like the dress you bought me from Africa. I love it. Like I haven't worn it yet, but I can't wait to wear it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
um,
been years.
because
You
it's
got to
just
put it
for me.
on.
It's just I mean I've tried it on, but I'm not,
Okay.
because I want to wear jeans with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like
So
it's a
we're gonna
whole
wear
look.
them in Bali. I'm gonna bring mine, and we're gonna sport that junk in
Okay, all
Bali.
right, yes.
Okay.
So gifts are not my thing, but service, right?
Mhm.
Like so that gift that you gave me was like a service to my sense of fashion, right? But what's the
Mhm.
other one? And then
Acts of service, gifts, physical touch, and words of affirmation.
yeah, so I also think words of affirmation.
Okay.
So
So service and words of
service and words of
affirmation.
affirmation, yeah.
Okay.
What about you? Mm-hmm.
So my first one is physical touch.
Mm-hmm.
My first one is physical. Oh, Erica came in quality time. So acts of service, I think quality time are together. So is it five? It might be
Okay.
five. So
Okay.
my number one is is physical touch. And
Mm-hmm.
then number two for me is words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've learned about myself and just doing that little quiz, and you guys can, I think it's a 5 love languages. So thank you, Erica, for that. Quality time is one too.
Yeah.
Yes, so we missed one. 5 love languages. They have quizzes online, so you can kind of, it's again self-sciencing, seeing yourself to see where you are on things. So you have a little more knowledge of yourself. So for me, I learned so much about me through
Mm-hmm.
touch from another. That
Mm-hmm.
whole feeling piece helps. You know how we talked about, Monique, you don't really know what you are, you don't really know what your
Yeah.
capacity is.
Yeah.
And so through physical touch, I have been able, and because of the rituals and things I'm doing, to learn different aspects of myself with
Mm-hmm.
just myself and with another. It's
Yes.
really mind boggling or mind blowing because it's not from the neck up. It's really from everything else down.
Mm-hmm.
So that physical touch for me also goes with my soldier body and the need for movement. Like I have to move. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise I'm sad. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
to move my body.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And now, because I've never really thought about those, but because I have a Pisces rising, my energy really gets drained by others easily.
I get
It
it.
just does. I'm very
Mhm.
sensitive and I just prefer my own time and own space. Like I really do.
And that's what
And
you said, your top two, give me
yes,
some
yes.
service. And what was the other one you said?
Words of
Give me
affirmation.
some.
I do appreciate
Mhm.
affirmation though. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate people telling me how they experience me.
Yeah, that's a text. That's an email. Y'all ain't got to be in her space.
Right, but and I need and I like I appreciate it and I value it. Like but and I also was saying that the whole gift thing isn't a big deal to me, but one of my clients recently gave me a coloring book, and I'm
Oh,
literally sitting here right now because I did not know, right? I did not know. They gave me the coloring book and I was like, and they gave me the colors and I started doing it and I love it. Like
oh wow.
I'm literally like, oh, but like I don't know why she was led to give this to me, but she did, and it's an act of service. Like this coloring book is an act of service to me.
That was for little Monique. That
Yes,
was a gift for your inner
and
child.
I'm
That's
in here
beautiful.
coloring right now. Look,
Oh,
I'm coloring.
beautiful. Did
Right?
you color that? Oh,
I did.
girl, you good. You
Well,
good.
I mean, it's all like so. Yeah, so I'm really having a good time, but it's a I think like I I deeply want to know myself through the lens of my own perspective. I
That's
really
beautiful.
do. And it is um because I want to know my magic. I want to find
Mhm.
it. And when I'm with other people, I just get lost. I just get
Okay.
lost in their
I
things.
get that. I
Yeah.
get that so much. So
Hmm.
the coloring is very meditative. I've seen people do
Yeah.
these meditative coloring books and stuff. But I'll say, because me and Monique, we're sisters, but we're different. The
Hmm.
coloring, I would be coloring like this, like, okay, I'm done. And you'll be like, you did it wrong. You're supposed to take I
Right.
don't want the little movement like that. I want the big body movements. I want to
Yes.
move in big ways. I don't want the fine tuning. So don't call me for the fine tune like that. Call me for
Yes.
the painting of the whole wall. I can do that.
Yes, yes, I love it. And here's the thing that I'm starting to so appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am willing to be with myself, I'm starting to know who I am separate from another. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
getting lost in other people's stories and identities and attempting to try to keep up with that. I was in a friendship for 40 years where I felt bad that I wasn't married because I was best friends with somebody who was married.
Mm.
I couldn't even appreciate that I'm single as fuck. I can do whatever I want to do, right?
Right.
Because I was so bled into, because I bleed into others' experiences. So,
Okay.
I
Do you
just,
think that's a unique thing for you, or other folks feel in a way about being friends with people who are married? Like I've been married so long, I don't have a perspective of that. Are folks feeling that? Is that common? Do people feel that way? Ladies feel like if you have friends who are married and you're not married. Well, I do feel like women feel like it's a clock, especially if you haven't done it at least once.
that's right.
You feel
And
like,
I feel like marriage is a hierarchy in our culture.
Okay.
So it's a
I can
valuable
respect that.
social, it's a social
Social
agreement.
capital.
It's
It's like
social
a social
capital. Right.
capital.
That's
I
right. So
agree.
I think that women want it. I think that women really want it for the social capital. The subconscious understanding of what we give marriage
Mm-hmm.
is why people want. And when I got in it, I saw it immediately. I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
fuck, like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's treating me different. Like it's,
Right.
but I also realized that it was bullshit.
Yeah.
It's I don't need that social capital. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the marriage club. And it because there's a it's culturally, like everybody's
Mm-hmm.
marriage is not this way, but culturally this agreement of being a wife means that I'm a caregiver for everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
your social status is that you are sacrificing yourself for people, and you're a mother. And I don't want to do that.
I feel you. So the key is to be married and free. That is
Yeah,
the hybrid.
that's
That's the
right.
hybrid situation.
That's right.
If you
That's
choose
right.
it, but you get to choose whichever. Someone's saying something. What does she say? The energy bleeds into other. Oh, she understands that.
Yeah.
She calls it over relating.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's a word. Over
Yes.
relating. So you in solitude helps you to know your boundaries with you, because that's who boundaries are for. People think boundaries are for
That's
other
right.
people. They're really for
That's right.
ourselves. We got to
Right.
know our boundaries. And so you're saying clearly, I know my boundaries. I need this time for me to really center into myself so that I can really understand what my feelings are about, how I function, how I'm set up. And
That's
I
right.
know my magic. I can
That's
find my
right.
magic
That's
that
right.
way.
And then I can be of great service to another.
Ashe.
And
Ashe.
then
And
I
you
can
are.
be, that's
Yes.
right. But it comes from me being solid in myself first. And it's,
Yes.
and so, but our conversation around following our emotions, right? It's the feel, like being able to live your life from feelings. The thing that I think is such a trip is how you hear these things, women are so emotional and feelings don't matter, right? You hear that. Like people
Mhm.
actually
People
say
say,
that
fuck your
shit.
feelings. You
Fuck
know what I'm
your
saying? Fuck your
feelings, right?
feelings.
And here's the thing, your feelings matter to you, and you are responsible for what you feel. No one else is
Right.
responsible for your feelings, right?
Right.
So if someone is overriding your feelings, you cannot make them stop,
Nope.
but you can put yourself in another circumstance so
Right.
you are supporting yourself.
It's your own divine information, whether they get it or not, ever.
That's right.
It's when we stuff our feelings or don't listen to our feelings. They can say fuck your feelings because maybe that's how they feel about it. But when you say fuck your feelings to yourself, that's when you start getting into problems.
That's right.
That's what I think.
That's
Yeah.
right. And how many times have we overrode our feelings for money, right? Like, oh, I hate this job, but I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go because I need the money. And you're
Mm-hmm.
overriding your feelings. And then you open up the space for other people to override your feelings. When you override your feelings, you open up the reality for other people to disrespect your feelings.
Energetically, it's a transgression against you as a human.
Yes.
When you look at all the sickness and things like that and unhappiness, it comes because feelings aren't being honored. And
Mm-hmm.
so when someone said on here about joy and things like that, those things are very important. We can set up our life just like they're set up for money. You can set it up for joy. You can set it up for love. You can set it up for expansion, whatever it is you desire.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to spend time with you to know what you desire.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
like we
right.
want to talk about activating the body too, because if we have been taught to live from the neck up and to give no regard to your feeling, oftentimes when you're feeling something, you might feel a feeling in your stomach, and then folks try to eat that away or drink
Mm-hmm.
it away or self-medicate it or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
fuck it away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what would you say about activating the body as it
Well,
relates to this conversation about functioning from our feelings?
yeah. Well, I think you're the expert on this already because you dance. So
Mm-hmm.
what would you
Okay.
say about activating the
Okay, so
body?
what I would say about activating the body, because the body, and I do have an advantage because I've danced my whole life. And I
Yes.
understood that I could dance myself happy. Like when I was depressed, like when my grandma passed,
Mhm.
she passed on a Tuesday. And I remember talking to my business partner, and I was, of course, very sad. And I said, well, I'm not coming to dance today. And she says, why? I said, well, because I'm sad. And she's like, I know, but why? And
Mhm.
I'm like, she said, you need to, and she was right. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I
Yes.
do.
Yes.
She said,
Yes.
come dance, let us hug you,
Yes.
let
Yes.
us love you. Because it's nothing you can do right now. It's
Right.
nothing to do in this moment.
Right.
You know,
Right.
she
Mhm.
has flown over the rainbow.
Yes.
And I danced and I cried and I screamed and I danced and I cried and I danced to joy
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
her services. I couldn't talk at first. Like I really felt like a lump in my throat.
Mhm.
My grandmother, I was so close to my grandmother, okay? And I cared for her through the last year of her life. But I knew I wanted to dance at her service.
Yeah.
After I danced at her service, then I could talk.
Yeah.
I had to dance first. And
Yeah.
I danced things I could not say, but I
Mhm.
could move my body in a way and I could move the emotion through my body that then I could speak.
Mhm.
And so for me, the nature of activating my whole self in whatever emotion I'm feeling, be it sadness, joy, ecstasy, all of it. Bring your whole self to it, not just your neck up,
Yeah.
but your
Yeah.
heart, your yoni, your feet, your joints, your hair. Bring it all to it. And it really becomes a moving prayer. So
Mhm.
that coupled with nature, because I wanted to talk about the sun, spending time in nature. We can't just be inside these buildings all the time under these fluorescent lights and shit. We gotta be touching the ground and grounding and out in the air and letting the sun activate this melanin and
Mhm.
in the water and talking to it. This is when it becomes literal magic.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you feel it like it's an electricity in the air that you literally feel. My grandma was right there with me.
Mhm.
The last
Mhm.
year of her life, I used to bring her with me to dance class sometimes, because I
Mhm.
couldn't leave her at home because she was doing the dementia thing. So I bring her with me. She had no chill. She'd be like, that white lady got a big booty. Oh, that's what y'all do? Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I see.
Mhm.
So she was in there with me that night. She was in there with me that night,
Yeah.
giving the commentary, laughing, and having a good time. And I was healing. So
Mhm. Yes.
using your body in ways that are your medicine. And this is why nature is important, because you'll start to learn where your medicine is and how you can activate your body. Like you talked about tapping,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
how tapping, you can reset the code by literally tapping different points
Yes.
on your body. These are
Yeah.
the things we do in Goddess Technology of
Mhm.
activating this.
Yeah.
This is the magic, y'all.
That's right.
This is
That's right.
literally the
Yeah.
stardust that NASA is studying.
Yeah.
They don't need no more space shuttles because we already
We
here.
are
Hello.
it. We are
We're
it.
here but
Yeah.
dormant. But waking.
Yeah.
That's the other part, but waking.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
activating your body is important. Do whatever it is to put your body into motion, because it brings all of those things. It's like when you put the seasoning into the soup, when you put the salt in it, it brings out the flavor, it brings out the connection, it brings out the magnetism, it brings out the healing and the love.
Mhm.
Woo.
Mhm.
Thank you for those hearts, everybody. Thank you.
Ashe.
Ashe.
That's powerful. Woo, I love it. So I don't have, I follow your lead on that, and I'm deeply appreciative to be, so connected to you, um, so that, because my relationship with you has been helping me become more embodied.
Mhm.
And I am learning so much about myself. And the thing that I love is that I'm learning how disconnected I was. That's the
Mhm.
thing that's been so,
Yeah.
like, wow, so disconnected. And why was I disconnected? Oh, because like I was telling you the other day, like, because I got this activation of sexuality so early.
Mhm.
And, like I was telling you, basically I was following the feeling, which means I was fucking everybody.
Mhm. You were spreading love with that
I
yoni. You
was
were just
spreading
spreading it
love
out.
everywhere. And I literally, I did have conflict with it because I was raised Christian. But if I didn't have Christianity, I wouldn't have had any conflict with it. But what made me catch myself was I was in college, and I was dating somebody who was in a fraternity, and then I dated somebody else who was in the same fraternity, and then somebody else approached me in the same fraternity, and something said to me, they are having private conversations about me.
Mm.
They're talking about how good this pussy is.
How liberated she is. That's the good time girl.
They are talking talking about it, and that was when I was like, oh, okay, like
Mhm.
this is it, right?
Mhm.
But that was because, like I said, I was activated so
Yeah.
young in my sexuality, so
Yeah.
it was already when hormones caught on, it just drugged me along, right?
Mhm.
But now I'm claiming myself back, and I'm really learning how to be
Mhm.
in my body, and I govern this power. This power doesn't govern me.
Ashe. But Mo, you had to have that quote unquote dark experience
Hmm.
to appreciate where you are now. That's
Absolutely.
beautiful because
Hmm.
it gave you the view,
Yes.
you know, it
Yes.
gave you the view. So that's really beautiful. And for you to even see, like, damn, they talking about me. It's like, nah, I don't want to be the one written on the bathroom wall for a good time call. It's like, nah, 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 nah.
Though I do know it's a good time.
Oh, it is a good time. I do not deny. I do not deny.
But
Whenever
we
you decide to take it off the shelf,
right.
somebody will be blessed.
That's right.
But
That's
until
right.
then, because it's
That's
going to be
right.
even more magical.
That's right.
Hello.
That's right. That's right. That's
That's
right.
awesome. What the sister said, she said exactly. A huge percent of communication is nonverbal, and energy is neither created or destroyed. Ashe,
Mhm.
ashe,
Ashe.
ashe.
Thank you,
So
teacher
activate
mama.
it. Activate the energy that is laying dormant in your body. It
Mhm.
is springtime. Go out and walk. Let the sun shine on your beautiful body.
Mhm.
Talk to the sun. Talk to the wind. Talk to the water when it's
Yes.
running on your hands.
Yes.
Talk. Let your intuition come up. Activate your magic.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
hello.
It's so
Come
interesting.
on.
Today I went and had a colonic,
Mhm,
because last week I did a gallbladder flush
mhm,
because my digestion wasn't running as like the way I'm a
mhm,
Virgo, so my digestion can be very temperamental.
mhm,
Um, but it was so good to really just allow myself to be taken care of by the woman who was doing it,
mhm,
and and the level of sensitivity, and feeling that water running through my colon, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so we have nature inside of us, and we have nature outside of us, so do both, you all.
mhm.
Like, do the things that Adina is saying, and also do your internal stuff as
Yeah.
well. Bring nature inside of you as much as you can.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is being mindful of eating clean, being
Mhm.
mindful of drinking your water, being
Mhm.
mindful of doing colonics, doing the things that is going to support your temple so
Mhm.
that you have an easier time in these activations.
Yes.
All of these things matter. I saw a story last week that talked about the Chick-fil-A versus the Popeye sandwich.
Uh-huh.
Remember when people was hitting each over the
Yes.
head for these sandwiches? And even now, the Chick-fil-A line in my area, folks will be, it's the only drive-through that has like triple lanes, and they have somebody out taking order. I'm like, what the hell are in these sandwiches that people line up? I mean,
Yes.
and they said it's over 55 chemicals in these sandwiches.
Yes.
And so really it's a dope sandwich. It's not just a
It's
straight chicken
not
sandwich.
chicken. It's not.
Mhm.
Right.
And the
Right.
McDonald's fries, the
Yeah.
same thing. The most popular item on, and not to mention these companies, but the most
Yes.
popular item on their menu are the fries. And they had, known carcinogens in these
Yes.
products. All of these preservatives where you could sit them down and 20 years later they look exactly the same. It's no
Yes.
decomposing. It's like it's not potato, salt, and
Yes.
oil. It's
That's
it's
right.
a whole bunch of other
It's
stuff.
not food.
It's
It's not
not
consumable.
food.
It really
It's
is
not
not
food.
consumable. And these
Mhm,
bodies are so magical. Like, you can eat that shit for years and live. But then one day
mhm,
your body is gonna be like, fuck you, I ain't doing this no more.
mhm,
But when you give your body what helps it
mhm,
thrive, and
mhm,
I want to say, like, that has been a rigorous experience for me.
mhm,
Detoxing, fasting, herbal remedies, not eating meat, or knowing when I can't eat meat, or eating clean meat. Like, it has been very, 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 this thing of getting the body aligned is a formidable experience is what I want to
mhm,
say. Like, it is
mhm.
not, I have not because of where we live, and because when you want to have healthy, so you have to really seek them out. I'm
You do.
lucky that I live in Los Angeles because I can access healthy food really easily. But there are
Mhm.
places where you can't access healthy food
Yeah.
as easily, and so it is loving your body and act is an initiation in and of
Mhm.
itself.
It is. It is. Oh, someone said Teacher Mambo says they cloned Tyrone, talked about it, and they did. If y'all saw
Mhm.
that movie put a whole lot in your
Yes,
face.
it
It put
did.
a
Yes,
whole
it
lot on your mind. And there are even YouTubes where people are decoding the
did.
messages in that movie to
Mhm.
give you a higher perspective of what's being said there. So these days they're putting it right in your face and then telling you it's make believe, it's just entertainment, it's just a programming. But really, as you start to really come into your power, into your magic and your metaphysical awareness, you know it's not.
Mhm.
You know what's for you. Trust your
Mhm.
feelings. Right.
Yes.
In Reiki, we put our hands over our food and feel it before we eat it.
Mhm.
And so I know that when I do that, I am shifting molecular structure in this sacrament of food that I'm about to take into my
Yeah.
body. And even if it is a French fry or something, I am releasing all harm and
Yes.
calling
Nothing
it
can
the
harm.
good. But even with that, I want to give my body the highest possible nutrients so it can keep making all this deliciousness. You know what I'm saying?
Hi, right. Yeah, absolutely. It is a it's it's a profound thing. It really is, like
Mhm,
understanding the body and what it needs and the reason why it needs it, and
mhm,
then accessing our emotions,
mhm,
because those emotions, they give you so much like lately my emotions are, they run with the cycles, and I, like lately I feel good. I feel, I'm
mhm.
like, oh, like my body is starting to feel strong, like, oh, I feel, but and I can, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't taking care of myself before. That's why I was tired. That's why I was cranky. That's why I was, feeling like I needed something, craving all these foods, because I wasn't giving myself what I really needed. And
Mhm.
I didn't, and I thought something was wrong. So then I take we go to the doctor thinking something is wrong, and nothing is wrong, really.
But they're gonna make something wrong. Some of these doctors.
Yes, they are. They are going, like if you really knew that, like your high blood pressure is not because, it's because you're actually not getting the kind of salt that you really need. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm,
Like the diabetes, like all these things, like if we start listening to our bodies, they will lead us. Our bodies will
mhm,
lead us to the
mhm.
healing. They really
Right.
will.
And part of that, to wrap it all back around, is your emotions. You
Yes.
know, I noticed one thing, like if I'm in any major emotion, I can't really eat. Like if I'm really mad about something, I can't swallow. Like it's
Mhm.
something with my swallow reflex when I'm sad or if I'm mad or any extreme emotion, I cannot eat. Like if we're
Mhm.
having an argument, I'm not eating. I cannot ingest what all of this is going on. I will
Mhm.
live, if we're eating, I will stop
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
becomes poison.
Yes.
So to start to listen to your body and listen to your emotions and trust what is coming up for you and get
Yeah.
curious of it within yourself and know it's for you. It's not necessarily for other people, but it's a message for you. So that's the beauty of what we're sharing here today. And this is the work we do in Goddess Gathering with women every week. And of course, like Monique said, we're going to Bali this summer. We'll be
Yes.
able to do this work in a very mystical and magical place and keep shifting it for the world, doing this butterfly effect.
Yes.
Butterfly effect. Feeling our feelings, knowing our tears are sacred, our laughter is music to the birds. Our anger is sacred too, because there are things that need to come and be burnt up and need to be transmuted by the fire.
Yes.
All of it, all of it, all of it,
Mhm.
all of it.
So before we close, is there anything we want to, because we're at about an hour now, and I really like to post our
Oh,
videos.
let's get off. I didn't realize we
Okay.
was at an hour. Love
Yes.
you guys. We have Goddess Gathering tonight.
Yes.
And if you need to get into a container, we have one. Follow the
Yes.
sun, Goddess Technology Bali.
And we
You
would
don't have to do it
love
by
to have you there.
yourself.
That's right.
Yes,
We would love it.
yes.
You
We
can
would love to have
look in our links in our link tree in our profile and join. We will be, every Thursday we're there. We're having a great time. All
you.
right, you
Yes, see you
all.
tonight.
I
Love
love you,
y'all.
Adina.
Love you, Monique. I feel love for all of our people.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.